This is a really good question, and the main word of the day today is going to be consistency. So I will admit Alex has had a couple of blips since season 1. Like, he's not perfect. Like, him going out of his way to embarrass Izzy, I in more recent episodes, at least for me, he's he's very wishy-washy with Lexi in a way that I don't like. But then again, maybe don't date the guy who's barely left like the love of his life and expect him to be all about you right away. Lexi, like, good on you for staying away from the old ass man, but maybe take like a couple months and be single. Don't fuck with the barely married dude. But to bring it back to Alex, the minute that he and Izzy are like even a little bit serious, he is all about her. He is locked in. And this is true even when Izzy is acting super batshit insane, nigh undefendable. He's like, that's my woman. I'm gonna stick beside her. And he's also not afraid to call her out either. Like, even though like he's consistent with her and he loves her, he'll also know like when she's better than this. And even when he walked away from her, it was like, I love you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you, but also you've been treating me really terribly, and you taught me that I deserve better than what you're doing to me. Like, even that is consistent. And when she had the affair with George, he was looking at her like, George? Like, are you kidding me? Like, you are better than this. Like, even when he's like berating her for fucking this guy that he doesn't like, he's not framing it like, oh, you're a slut for fucking George. It's more like, you're better than this. What are you doing? George has never been consistent with a woman in his motherfucking life. He leaves Meredith out to dry when it comes to that whole like icky hookup that they had, where he knew on some level that she wasn't into it, and then Meredith does what Meredith does and she has sex with somebody in order to show her love for them or whatever. I'm so glad Meredith went to therapy. He strings along the Sif nurse, Molly, I think her name. Like, I keep forgetting Sif nurse's name, but he's not consistent with her either. And to go back to the Meredith thing, he actually leaves her out to dry when it comes to her friends, and he makes her friends hate her and makes him look like the victim in that situation, where in reality, like, she was trying to push through a bad sexual encounter and he made it about himself. Like, if he was really Meredith's friend, like, he would have, disengaged from her vagina and been like, hey, like, let's talk about this. Like, what do you need from me? He made it about, what did you do to me instead? So, ugh. Like, sorry about the bus, George, but ew. And then he treats Callie terribly. Like, he is just the dirtiest fuckboy to ever fuckboy to her. And then he marries her because, like, he's feeling a type of way. Meanwhile, like, I don't even remember if he said that he loved her, like, before they got married. He said he might love her soonish, which, disgusting. And then, even then, he is so blatant about him not prioritizing his wife that when he dies, Callie's like, I was not the most important woman in his life at any point. I need to go to his fucking mistress, Izzy. And then when Best Girl is dying of metastatic melanoma with all of her mets all over the place, he still makes it about himself. He's like, oh, like, she didn't tell me, I was one of the last to know, therefore like she doesn't want my support. Like, are you kidding me? Like, she's literally dying. Like, fuck you. They make up like right before he dies, but like, she just didn't deserve that, you know? And this also just comes out down to like a narrative framing thing for me, where George is constantly being lionized in the canon of Grey's Anatomy as being like the guy who is like the good guy, the best guy. Like, Christina's saying some shit about how George is the best intern they have. Like, okay, girly. Like, yes, George has a lot of heart, but like, he's not the best intern. It's just he really gets lionized in a way that isn't fair. Whereas Alex, he's constantly being framed as like this icky, icky fuckboy. But when the chips are down, Alex is the one generally doing the right thing. And he's also the one who's like, ride or fucking die for his woman. Where George is presented to us as like this really nice guy who just can't seem to catch a break. Alex is presented as like this shitty dude, like this douchebag evil spawn, when if you looked at Alex and George's track record objectively, at least up to where I am in like the beginning of season 7, one of these guys is a fuckboy and it's not Alex.